that's true. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm so into you, 'cause you're so divine. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm so into you, living life borderline. Eyes that see the crystal ball on the floor, baby. Body shift to bass and drum. Fall in love with you, maybe. Move like the waves roll together. I'm falling down with you. Rain pouring now, it don't matter. Good times don't stop, that's true. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm too into you, 'cause you're so divine. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm too into you, living life borderline. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm too into you, 'cause you're so divine. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm too into you, living life borderline.
After we move from borderline, we give you the remedy of the scoop, the morning scoop.
When you walk, even if the sky comes falling, baby, I'll be yours. I'll be there when you walk. You can call when you need. When the sky comes falling, baby, we'll be free. 'Cause it's alright. It's all good. 'Cause we've been here before, you know. Broken, no pain on your mind. Rolling, hoping that you find your remedy. You're all I need. Are you torn between waterfalls and lucid dreams? Oh, you're all I need. If you stray too far down memory lane, but all the voices change up, but they stay the same. You picking them up, tearing them down, and all the walls around these lights say this your town. Broken, no pain on your mind. Rolling, hoping that you find you're all I need. Are you torn between waterfalls and lucid dreams? Oh,
Yeah.
you're all I need. Your remedy.
Yes. The slow, silky vibe of the brother Christian Mark this morning. We give you twins. Well, we gave you a double of Christian. We gave you the more jumpy vibe, borderline and remedy. Hey, and sometimes like he's advocating. All we need is a remedy. He the only body could help you sometimes. But when things gone like how it gone, we just need remedy. Good morning, everybody who's logged on. logged onto the Star, whether you're on 103.7, 98.3, 104.7, Lord have mercy, on 98.3, or you're on a streaming platform, Facebook or YouTube. Good day to you wherever you are. It's a beautiful Monday morning here in our beautiful country. The sun is out even after a weekend of showers. Sun is out, and it doesn't look like we've had any damage at all over the weekend. So it's a beautiful one. It's a beautiful morning, and we're getting ready to start the work week productive as always to make sure that the country continues to uh, expand and grow and develop for the benefit of all Vincentians. Yeah, yeah. Now, Denny and Dane this morning, for those of you who have been on all morning, so you're always holding it down on the other side. But let me just say good morning to some of those fantastic family members who have logged on the live. So we're talking about Tammy and Faye, Phyllis, Rochelle, Weslin. Hey, Weslin, it's a long time. I ain't see you. Long time, Weslin. Well, you know, I remember Weslin, who I've known for a very long time. We used to call it Wesleyan. Wesleyan. Remember that? They still call it Wesleyan, but I get big name on Brighton. I feel like I pronounce properly. So I pronounce it Weslin. Right. Faye, as if you're already, yes. Joselle, Bernard, which is Uncle Louis, Val, Ian, Franklin, Doreen, Audrey, all of you, good day to you. Saying good morning to us here. Ev, good morning as well. Boy, Ev, what is this thing with England, boy? England belong in primary school cricket. England need to come and play against Sandy Bay secondary because they're not doing very well in the World Cup, eh? But anyhow, let me ask you what cause West Indies even want Sarah. And watched match yesterday. Sorry for those of you who don't dig sports. South Africa, India, and that is the match I was looking forward to because these are two teams at the top. South Africa lost the game before. Yes, England hadn't lost in the game, but so it's number one, number two, and so I'm expecting a competitive match because I'm thinking, yeah, boy, I believe that is how the final gonna go. It was the most one-sided game ever. India won by over 200 and something runs. I mean, it was a shellacking that South Africa got. However, I put it this way. Regardless to how good it be, you have to fail. You must fail. And so I am saying that India will not win the World Cup. India will not win the World Cup because they have yet to fail and they will fail. And the unfortunate thing about India is that they're going to fail in the period when they can't afford to fail, which is the knockout period. You see, when you fail in the group stage, you lose, you could build back and come back. But when you fail in the knockout phase, that's it for you. And India will fail. They must fail, and they will fail in the knockout stages. So they will not win the World Cup. And anybody wants to wager me on that, come. Yeah. So we were looking at India and South Africa because they're playing so good in the group stage. But now you're wondering that maybe one of the teams are quietly doing its business. New Zealand maybe could actually rise up. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see if I was listening when she's driving now, right? Well, I'm glad to have you here this morning. So you could actually interact with us. So yeah, let's see how that works out for India. But it was quite a show of force. And for those of you who watch the 50 over regional cricket, Darren Bravo came out like a boss. Well, let me not say look like a boss. I think it was some poor feeling too. But Darren Bravo scored a century last night for the Red Force, and they also had a pretty good match against Barbados Pride. Mind you, Barbados Pride came back very good to bat 47 point something overs and get 200 something runs because they were really reading early in the match. But good showing by Trinidad and Darren Bravo, the captain. Yeah. So that's that. My team plays against Tottenham today. Richard McLeish. This is our day. Later on this afternoon. Roma came back from a 1-0 down after missing a penalty early in the game, to have a really dramatic 2-1 win towards the end. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. See what all you want. It's all right. You know. Then he had Madrid taking on, I think it's Alves, and just kicking the ball all around the, like, I don't know if they thought that the object was to kick the ball all around the goalpost and not in the goal, but 0-0. So
Madrid did not play.
Blingy happy. Whoever I play and draw 0-0. So guys, but Bellingham like you had after yesterday. But anyhow, so yeah, so there's a round of sports from your world of sports this morning. Yeah, all right, no. I just want to say something in passing before I speak substantively on what I want to discuss this morning. And it is, I ain't judging nobody. I just making an observation. I don't know if Giselle know anybody, because last night I got news, I going through social media and so on, that somebody was shot and killed in Layu. And immediately I saw reactions online. I saw reaction from a former student of mine, Max Walker, who said the cousin that they're not with them and so on and so on. And I saw an interview from Eyewitness News, again another cousin, and the way things were being characterized. And I found it a little interesting that so far he was a quiet guy, he wasn't in trouble, he wasn't in trouble nobody, ting. But he was shot previously a couple of years ago. And he went to jail for gun and ammunition possession. That characterization somehow, as far as my analysis is telling me, confronts reality. It doesn't square too well with reality. If somebody was shot a few years ago, but wasn't killed, and that person went to jail for gun and ammunition possession, as quiet as the person is, don't you think it gives us pause to ask, what might that person have been involved in quietly? Quietly. You don't trouble nobody. Very quiet, good guy. But how do you square that circle? How do you square that circle? No, I don't know the individual, and they might well be right. He was very quiet, and as far as you don't trouble nobody. If you're any black line, you ain't trouble nobody. But something else is going on. Something else has to have been going on. It's just common sense. So now I think we're number 46 for homicides for the year. 46. And remember, one homicide or one incident took 5 lives, eh? One. I mean, by any stretch of the imagination, that would be the definition of a mass shooting. So I'm not, as I said, I didn't make that point to judge the deceased, the victim, because I'm not going to get into victim blaming. All I'm saying is I hear the characterization, but when you look at the reality, at least ask questions. At least ask a few questions. Now, the situation regarding homicides is one that well, let me just pause a little bit and to say that this morning the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force will be having a press conference at 10:30, or is it 11:30? Sometime this morning. Let me get the correct time. Hold on, because hello, I think it's 11:30. Yes, I think it's 11:30. Blake. Yes. So the they would speak to us this morning, and it is not fair, and it is not right, and it's unacceptable that if you individuals bent on crime and criminal activities would seek to hold the rest of a peace-loving nation hostage. It's unacceptable because Vincentians want to go about doing their business. Vincentians want to go about carrying out their activities, and we want to do it in an environment, in an atmosphere of safety and so forth, so that we're not looking over his shoulder. One of the most difficult things that I had to accept, and I could probably use the word scary without over dramatizing anything, is that night when someone or some individuals shot up a karaoke bar out in Hammersville. And why do I find that so disturbing? Why do I find it so frightening? Well, I love karaoke. I absolutely love karaoke. There's back in the day when I used to go to church, I used to sing special song and so on. You know, and so because I don't, good morning, Jill, because I don't visit the house of the Lord that often, I don't get to sing as much. So I use karaoke as a release to just go and sing to song. And so when that event occurred, it frightened me because I recognized right then and there that I could have been at that spot singing karaoke, and I could have been hit by a stray bullet. And if that happened and I got shot and killed, even by a stray bullet, because nobody ain't gonna use a stray bullet, then the questions would be so what Sian was involved in. I wonder, and then you then hear all of the conspiracy theories about Sian, maybe it's so and so, and you've been dig and things that people don't know. They just start to put things together. Just start to put things together. But that I listen. I used to go many partner boys before COVID mess up things. We used to be all over the place at karaoke. I mean, literally, we go quit. We knew where all the karaoke was. We go Treehouse on a Monday night. We go upstairs Music Center on a Tuesday night. We go by this one on a Wednesday night. We go by that. It's like every week, every day. We know which karaoke is happening, and we're visiting it. On a Monday night, I leave my house and go to Georgetown for karaoke because I like it. And so when an event like a karaoke, a harmless event, you want somebody, whatever the beef is between the two of you, and the person or persons there at the karaoke bar, just vibing, and you roll up on that and start to fire shots like a while. It shows a serious disregard for human life, and even more, more blatant disregard for the law. Like you in the wild wild west. I not tell Blink couple times. Couple times we talk and I say, Blink boy, I like to hang out. I like to lime. I like to sit on the block. But one of the challenges with popular blocks, popular hangout spots, is that while you're there, you don't know who's there liming with you. Not necessarily in conversation, but they liming at the same spot too. So me and Blink might pull up after a street beat. And I don't want to hear nothing about how long we on the street beat, eh? Okay, I just mentioning that. Me and Blake might pull up by a street. After a street beat, we pull up somewhere and we just chilling. And a group of people today, and a group of individuals are there as well, different individuals. Me and Gling, we just vibing. We talking about the program we just had. We planning for the next week. We talking different things and so on. Talking a little politics. One or two individuals may join us because they know who we be and so on. But also liming at that same spot might be an individual who's in a gang or in some type of activity and is a target, people looking for him. And these days, it appears that when they roll up on you, they just shooting. Now, how do we address that? The police service, which is the arm of the government that deals with the security of Vincentians of the public, they need to try and figure out how to address this. Now, I know we stop here about poverty and crime. Stop here about that. And I guess it's now because they figure out, okay, that poverty and crime thing ain't going nowhere. Because to just make that link arbitrarily like that the homicides that we're seeing taking place in St. Vincent and Grenadines are as a direct result of poverty. It ain't going away. It can't be. It's just not right. Having said that, there has to be Vincentians, citizens must feel safe. They must feel protected. They should be able to go to sleep at nights and not be worrying about intruders and possibly even violating them. Whether it's females walking the streets or in their homes living alone and so forth. They need to be confident. And even though I know for a fact that no one wants to be a victim of crime, it helps when you know that we have a system in place that vigorously investigates crime, solves these crimes, people get arrested, and our judicial system then deals with criminals appropriately. But if you have a situation where crimes are going unsolved, undetected, unpunished, then it worsens the situation. Yes, I'm sorry. Let me just say this, please. For those of you guys living in North America and some parts of Europe where y'all just play with God's time, and all the clock turned back, so now it's minutes to 7. So all of you ladies and gentlemen who used to make noise about Scoop being late, all these men about Scoop being late. Well, now it's 6:30. I'll have to wake up to listen to Scoop. Yes, Jill, 6:30. So all of you wonderful individuals in Canada and in the US and the UK and so on. Yes. Well, Kojo boy, sorry for you, boy, because it's 3:30 you waking up now, partner. Lord. That bad. No. So now I got wake. So I bet y'all want us to be late now. Not true? You want me to start late now? You want me to start 8:30 now? Yeah. And the thing is with the clock when it turn back, all them time, that's 6:30 now. It's still dark. 7 o'clock place dark. But Roro girl, wake up 6:30, man. Wake up to listen to school. Deborah Selby. Hey, look, me God, sister. Debbie, morning. Lovely. It's a long time I didn't see her here. Well, actually, no, I saw a post from you on Facebook last night that Evelyn used with Ronnie Richardson, doing some praise and worship in Chateaubriand on Saturday. So yes, I go back. We need to feel assured that the system is working. Now I know we have to look at practical solutions, and I'm not a police officer. I'm not a member of security services, so I'm going to be anxiously awaiting this press conference this morning at 11:30 to hear some of what the police force or the security services plans to implement to tackle what is happening here. Yes, listen, we are aware now. People know. People are stupid. And we ain't just talking because you could talk. We know that it's a minority. Absolutely. We know that. And we know in many instances it's a matter of targeted activities. Very often it's not random. There's a beef going on and people are involved in this, and so it's going back and forth between rival groups. I get that. But when one member of a rival group shoots up a karaoke bar where innocents, y'all following what's going on in Palestine? Apparently, 10,000 persons killed ain't enough, and 4,000 children. Apparently, Israel has a right to defend itself, so we can kill some more children and innocent civilians. That's all right. And anybody who says anything in support of Palestine is anti-Semitic, is a murderer. It's evil because you know the Palestinians are bad. You hear the languages used to describe Palestinians. You hear the language that they use to the difference in language. So when this October 7th is described, oh, it's horrific and barbaric and they murdered this and so on and so on. But an Israel's response and Hamas, no talk about the barbarism involved in the killing of over 4,000 children. That's not barbaric. That's okay. As a matter of fact, they say, well, boy, that's why, you know. That's why. And I can't help. I am sorry, but I can't help but see myself, see black people, see slaves and slavery in the whole thing because they demonize you so they could treat you however they want. Imagine that. And governments, the US, France, the UK, Justin Trudeau, well, Israel has a right to defend itself. Murdering people innocently is defending itself. Man. So the point I was making before frustrated is that whatever the rivalry that's going on between groups, it is putting innocent civilians in danger. It is challenging the ability of innocent civilians to go about their business in an environment of safety. And that's the problem we have. If all of y'all want to go Baliso and do the Gunsmoke Western vibe, walk 5 paces backwards and swing around and whoever, go Baliso and do that. But it is in our societies, in our communities, sorry. And it is making it uneasy, uncomfortable for law-abiding citizens to carry out their daily business. And I have a problem with that because I love lime. I love lime. Tonight is Monday night. I wouldn't mind going up to Georgetown, but I can't go Georgetown tonight because I should be on Voices tonight with Jomo Thomas. But had I not agreed to be on the program, I probably would have been in Georgetown later. We need to hear a plan. We need to hear a plan to arrest the situation, or at least get it under control. Get it. Criminals cannot be allowed to feel that they can commit at will their criminal acts. They can't. Last week, Monday, Bling doing the program. As soon as I come in the thing, Bling say, boy, like somebody get down this morning. So you mean, he said, coming up the steps, 5:45 or whenever, 20 to 6, and I coming up the steps, and the man tell me how much bullet he hear, how much shots he hear. Yes, and the sequence. How much then stop, then how much then stop. While we talking, to get a picture. Man down. That's last week Monday. The casual way that these individuals feel that they could put their hands on an ammunition and a gun and just want to execute somebody. Now, during the independence message, Dr. Gonsalves talked about an amnesty, which is a period where you would bring in your guns without repercussions. Just bring it in. Bring it in. You ain't supposed to have it. It's illegal. Bring it in. Because after that, the penalty for gun crimes or for possession going up. That's a start. I like that. No leniency. As the Americans would say, you throw the book at them once you catch them with a gun or with bullets. I think the law should go even further, where those who admit, for whatever reason, to have information because somebody come and beg you for $50 to buy a bullet and so on, those kind of people, they should be charged too. Because if somebody comes to me for $50 to buy a bullet, I'm supposed to report that. I'm supposed to report that. So, what is the plan? Yes, we hear it from the legislative standpoint. We're going to make it even tougher. We're going to be even tougher on possession offenses, possession of firearm, possession of ammunition. So once you're caught, you know, heavy penalty. Now it's up to the police to figure out, put something in place, or improve what is in place. Because to say put something in place gives the suggestion that there's nothing in place. I see them. I see them patrolling. I was in Camden Park Saturday night. I saw the transport, the pickup passed through Camden Park and so forth. So I see them patrolling. And I'm sure if you live in different communities, you see them patrolling too. So you'd love to know. Well, you would put things in place to improve what you're already doing. Now, the uncomfortable part of the situation, of the conversation that we never have, is our role. And I just mentioned it a while ago when I talked about people who have information. Because it appears that we want results and we want solutions, but we do not think we have a role to play. But it looks like we have a force call bling this morning. So if you could, when it chip in and so on, if you could answer it, so we could engage this caller. It seems that we do not think that we have a role to play. And we see it as a government problem, as a police problem. So this supposed to, and this supposed to. We fail to acknowledge that crime requires a partnership. Partnership. Caller, I know you're calling. And it's not that we're ignoring your calls. We're trying to sort it out, but the system, Blingo figure that out. Blingo figure that out. It requires a partnership. One where members of our communities realize and recognize that we do have a role to play in providing valuable information to the law enforcement. You know who are gunning? You know who beefing? You know who threatening people? You know. Some citizens even act as alibis and co-conspirators and so forth with individuals holding things for them, holding secret for them, holding objects for them. How is the police supposed to fight crime when you know, when you heard the conversation, when you saw the actions and activities, you know, but you are seeing nothing? All right, so Blink started out. We're going to take the call now. Oh, that was you calling. Oh, okay. Blink was testing. Okay, all right. So Blink's figured it out. So you could call back now. We sorted it out. So individual was calling, could call back. We apologize. How do you expect the police aren't magicians? They don't have crystal ball. So what they depend on assistance from the community. I'm gonna have to take this Bling. Give me 1 second, please.
As the sun rises in the sky, I know it is the sign of a brand new day. When you're tired and worn and you wanna give in, just remember it's the price you pay to make the sacrifice. I know sometimes it's hard to understand the meaning of it all.
All right, I just have to take that call. Once that call come on, I know what I mean. So I have to take that call. So yes, we have to, we must, we absolutely must understand that it requires a partnership. They depend on you for usable information. And if you have the information, but you do not give the information, if you withhold the information, then in my view, you are just as guilty as the criminal, him or herself. When sometimes, as a matter of fact, timely information would be able to prevent some crimes. Timely information can prevent crimes. And in the event that we were unable to prevent it, proper, credible information can help us to solve those crimes. We have to understand that we have a role to play, and we are a critical part. We listen, we cannot be divorced as individuals, we cannot be divorced from the issue of solving crimes. If you see something, you gotta say something. If you know something, you have to say something. If we are protecting the individuals who are committing crime, no, it's okay for the BNC. I ain't call them criminals, you know. I ain't call them criminals. If we are protecting the individuals who are involved in crime, old people will see the opola worse than the thief. No, of course, I said it the way. But the opola, what's an opola? The upholder, the one who upholds the criminal, the one who holds the criminal's secret, the one who tells lies for the criminal, giving them an alibi. The opola was than the thief. But I just got a call that PM is trying to call us. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the break right now, Bling. I take the break right now, play some ads, and we'll try to connect with PM during that period. All right, so let's get the ad break out of the way so that once we connect with Prime Minister, we don't have to stop again. All right, so don't go away. Hopefully when you come back, we should have PM on the line.
You can increase your chances of winning the Super 6 jackpot with a combo play. Remember, Super 6 numbers are from 1 to 28. Choose any 5 Super 6 numbers. That's a combo 5 for $69. Match any 5 of the 6 numbers and you will win the jackpot. Choose 7 Super 6 numbers for $21. Match any 6 of the 7 numbers and win the jackpot. There's more. Combo 8, where you purchase 8 Super 6 numbers for $84. Match any 6 of the 8 numbers and you will win the jackpot. There are also Combo 3 and Combo 4 Super 6 plays. Visit the NLA headquarters in Falls Avenue or WhatsApp 495-6886 for more details. Super 6, bigger jackpots, more chances to win.
Out with the old, in with the new. In the past, you complained when we failed. We listened and went back to the drawing board. At last, a new, fresh beginning. A fresh face, a new product. International Standard Metals A792 presents Galvaloon, an aluminum roofing metal, branded best used for roofing material, tested and proven to be of superior quality. Get wider coverage for the best prices on the island. We offer a variety of colors, including zinc sheets. Also, take advantage of our unique roofing patterns, U-panel, industrial, and crimp Spanish style. Visit us at the Diamond Industrial Estate. Call us at 784-456-9900 or email bmlsvg@gmail.com. Galvaloon, a product of International Standard Metals.
Here, SVG's newest beauty store, The Beauty Shack. There you will find a wide range of items for ladies, from human and synthetic braids and weaves to half wigs, bras, panties, costume jewelry, handbags, purses, and a whole lot more. The Beauty Shack. Guys, you're not left out, as there's a variety of colognes and gift sets to choose from. At The Beauty Shack, located on James Street in the same building that houses Eat Right Restaurant. Opening hours 7:30 a.m. until. Visit us or call 485-6681 for The Beauty Shack to make your true fashion statements.
Welcome back, and you're listening to 88.2 FM The Sound. We're talking about service excellence in the tourism industry. Let's take a caller.
Good morning. I'm Jackie from Best Agent at Holiday Villa Hotel for the past 25 years.
25 years. Great. So, Jackie, tell us, what makes an excellent front desk agent?
I love my job. As a service provider, I'm always polite to customers. I'm very helpful and I smile a lot. You know, visitors as well as locals feel very welcome when you treat them with respect and concern for their welfare.
Very true. We all need to look at it that way.
Yes, you see, tourism is everyone's business. You've got to live it, love it, embrace it.
Tourism is for me. Tourism is for you. Tourism is everyone's business. Live it.
Boy, stop what you're doing. I want to tell you about Automarine Coatings. In Villa, right on the main, you have a car, you have a boat, and you want them look nice. Now with the automotive, they are the official distributors of the Max Meyer car refinishing brand. It includes car automotive paints, clear coat reducers, hardeners, body filler, compressor fittings, automotive body oils. You have coolants, you have the greasers. So run down and check them out now. You're getting a 10% discount on all automotive paints. You have a boat, bottom protector primer, barrier shield primer. They also carry the anti-fouling paint, fiberglass resin, fiberglass matting. They have stainless steel bolts and screws, 2-cycle and 4-cycle marine oil, anchor chains, buoys and fenders. They have everything you could think about for your boats and for your car. So run down and check them out now. They're located in Villa, right. They reach down there, check Bruce, check Michael, and they go work with you. A 10% discount, it's waiting on you. Let me go down there now. Automarine Coatings in Villa.
More and win even more. National Lottery says more cash in store. 4 numbers from 0 to 9. In 5 grand with $1 in line. Base 4 and back into 2. There'll be lots of cash waiting for you. Choose for Monday to Saturday. Go get your tickets, it's so easy to play. When you play for, you win even more.
A storm or hurricane can cause extensive damage and tremendous loss. There can be flooding, landslides, and lightning strikes. Are you protected? What about an earthquake, volcanic eruption, a tsunami, or even a bushfire? Are you protected? Century Insurance protects you, your family, your home, your business. Talk to one of our friendly agents today. Call our Kingstown office at 456-2247 or Beckway 458-3855 or contact our representative, Mr. Jason Sargent, in the Bayshore Mall in Beckway. Upstairs, the First St. Vincent Bank building in Kingstown.
Carnival in the air, yo. Take the cat on the red now. Good energy in here now. I am Vinci, I'm real proud. Vinci, that's not the place. place, you see how we nice and the people are waiting on stop. Ready, be beating the steel ball, or be playing the string. Soon as they touch on the stage, come right away, blue, yellow, green, and red. Give me some red for job fish. Let me eat it up. If you love the music, put your hands up. I say, jump up. If you love the music, put your hands up. I say, I was born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am busy, I'm real proud. Born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am busy, I'm real proud. I love my home. Celebrate what is home. Together, have fun. Come to me, take you home. Music from me, I can tell you I'm no joke. I love this island, that is home. That is home, that is home, that is home now. When we see the playing a game, we taking the whole crowd. From the shandy and the game, you don't know it's going now. And we not slow down, marching through the whole town. I was born for this, I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am busy, I'm real proud. Born for this, I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am busy, I'm real proud. I go. Carnival in the air, yo. Take the cat on the red now. Put energy in here now. I am busy, I'm real proud. Vince the rest of the place, you see how we nice and the people are waiting on stop. Ready, be beating the steel ball, or be playing the string. Soon as they touch on the stage, come right away, blue, yellow, green, and red. Give me some red for job fish. Let me eat it up. If you love the music, put your hands up. I say, jump up. If you love the music, put your hands up. I say, I was born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am busy, I'm real proud. Born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say.
Yes, that's Just Boss. And which one of them? The whole camp. Well, the whole camp singing there. The whole camp. They did 2 numbers for Independence. That's one of them. You heard it before. So we took the break so that we could accommodate Prime Minister Gonzalez if he calls back. Because as you know, Prime Minister Gonzalez is traveling. He should be in Ghana, I believe, currently. He's expected back on Wednesday. You know, he went to Nigeria and delivered an address, a lecture at one of the universities there. He also met with one of the chiefs or the kings of a particular area, and then he traveled to Ghana as well. You know, we had the president of Ghana here, I believe it's in 2020. So Dr. Gonzalez visited Ghana on his recent mission overseas. So at any time when the Prime Minister calls, we would definitely take that call. But when he was calling earlier, we were having a little problems with the phone lines. There was an outage. Let's hope that he does call back and we are able to connect with him so that he can update us on what has happened so far. Somebody sent me a message as we continue our discussion with on the whole issue of crime. And we expand the discussion to include our response, our responsibility, our role as citizens. Do not for 1 second think that we do not have a role to play. Don't think so for a second, because we do. And what is happening, unfortunately, is the abdication of our responsibility as citizens. We refuse to play our role, and instead we side with the criminals, while at the same time wanting protection and wanting solutions. It is one of those very interesting contradictions It's just like last week we were talking about taxes. You don't want to pay taxes, but you want to get a salary. You don't want to pay taxes, but you want social services. You want services, education. You want roads. You want free healthcare, but you don't want to pay taxes. You want the government to reduce taxes, get rid of VAT, and so forth. But you want all of these services provided by the government. How is it supposed to happen? And so it's the same principle almost. You as part of our communities, you side with criminals. You keep their secrets. You hide their objects. You give them alibis. You lie on their behalf. You provide safe haven for them. And then, especially when the crime comes close to home, you start blaming everybody else. You see, when you know your son, let me break it down. Your son doesn't work, is always well dressed. Your son who doesn't work always has money to give you. Out late, coming in late, rolling with a certain crew, and you ain't asking no questions. You are asking no questions. So, all of that happening, he has the latest of everything. He always at a rental. People who you don't know are dropping him home and picking him up all hours in the night. Nothing jump out at you. Nothing jump out at you. That's okay. You're ignoring that. You're ignoring that. And then you hear of a crime committed. And you could ask his son, you know anything about that? You could look at certain movements of his son and think back and figure, boy, let me question him about that boy because he's been acting funny these days. But you don't ask. Maybe because you're afraid to find out the truth or what? Okay. Your son. He ain't paying attention. Or you're paying attention, but you're refusing to act. You're refusing to act. So guess what? A few weeks down the line, a few months down the line, as old, let's say, hey, way. And he look and his son is shot multiple times. He's dead. And you start to bawl. He was so good. He was your hands, and of course he was your hands in the video. He was getting money, but he never work, and you know that. And so now you're blaming the police and you're blaming the government. You're blaming the police and you're blaming the government for something that you could have prevented, but you chose not to. But now it's close to home. It's close to home. So now it's an issue of the government. It's the government problem. The government ain't doing this and the government ain't doing that. The police ain't doing this. As a matter of fact, there was a time, there might have been a time in the whole story. We're using the same hypothetical story when police came to your house asking for your son, having some questions, and you had not to say that to cause police. Because police got some information. Somebody tell them, check Miss Martha son up the road. Check Miss Martha because her son does roll with some boys and the other day so and so and so. Police come to you and they cuss the police and so forth. Leave me, boy. No, I not need to trouble nobody. But you know deep down in your heart, your son is involved in something because he's seen the actions, he's seen the movements. You seen the movements. But you're asking nothing. He ain't saying nothing. No red flags. Because the little money sweet you. Little money sweet you. And so, when it hits close to home, when your son, who you were protecting, when his son, who you knew, based on his actions and so on, you suspected, let me put it differently, let me not say new, you suspected that boy, oh yeah, was this money? I mean, I walk, but he always well dressed. In our walk, brand name, this, that. In our walk, he always a rental, 1 rental, 2 rental. Every week is a different rental. In our walk. But your content, come give me a ride, go so and so and so. Come carry me church. And it never occurred to you. Wait. Sebastian now walk. All you asleep, wake up 10 o'clock, but rental hours in the yard. Same rental will carry the church. Come carry this, gimme. Come bring that, gimme. It never occurred to you to ask Sebastian, whose rental this be? Mommy and friend, just so? But is that big? How you paying for it? Me don't let me use it. But business. It's a business. How he surviving if he always learning a rental and you rental 3, 4, 5 days and you not pay for it? We're not chop it now. No questions asked? Let us see. Them things start early. His son or daughter, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, they send them school, they come home. They are truck that they didn't leave with. Whose truck is this? No. Whose pencil is this? That wasn't the pencil I gave you this morning. Whose pencil is this? Who's this car here? I didn't give you this dolly. As a matter of fact, I didn't send you to school with a dolly. Whose dolly this be? I said dolly, not doll, but I mean, I understand. Come on, again, so. No questions? And if you don't start to instill that in them from very early, chances are when they get older, you ain't gonna be putting those checks and balances on them either. Crime is not a government problem. In as much as the government, the state has a responsibility. Crime is not a police problem. In as much as the police has a responsibility, crime is a societal problem. Meaning, we also have a responsibility. From the home to the institutions. Dr. Gonzalez made a very telling point at the launch of the Prime Minister's Youth Advisory Council, the Youth Advisory Council on the Prime Minister's Advisory Council on Youth. He said, check the courts. Check the courts. And we read the papers, we read the blogs all the time. The frequency or the level or the numbers of individuals going before the court to answer criminal charges, the number of individuals from the groups the Pathfinders, the Cadet Corps, the Scouts, the Girls Guide, and so forth, the 4-H, the police youth clubs, and so forth. Very, very slim. Slim to nil in many instances. It means that the young people, the people who get involved in these type of activities that provide that instills discipline and order, structure, those things are working. And when Terry was here, my brethren Terry, we go Clay Valley and we watching football. Through the week. This is Sunday, it's through the week. Close to 100 people just around watching football. Well, Blink tell me he made a treat yesterday. And Terry looked at me, he says, Jan, boss, right now, right here, this is crime prevention. You have young men from depressed neighborhoods, all a part of teams. And these teams are taking part in the competition and they bring their following and people liming. Nobody in committing no crime, nobody in robbing, nobody in fighting, nobody in stabbing up nobody. The importance of sports. And you got to tip your hat to Blink because organizing. Somebody say Blink for politics. Anybody want to say Blink for politics? Organizing these type of activities. First, the T10 cricket competition. Now we have the 7-a-side football competition. Keeping the young people engaged. Team from Mespo, team from Boom Boom, Upper Cane Hall, team from Green Hill and so forth, coming to Clay Valley to play football. Well, Jill say, when you ask a child where you get the truck from, when you come back from school, you say, I find it, mommy. Oh, okay. Just so. You find it? Where you find it? It is a partnership effort. And we have to recognize and we have to understand. We have to understand that until we start playing our role, we will have challenges with crime, with violence. I've always asked the question, and I remember years ago when I was on Nice Radio and the issue of crime was raised, I put the question square. I say, when we talk about crime and we point our fingers at the government, let us have a discussion and say, expose what the government isn't doing and what they should be doing. See what they should be doing. The government trains more police officers regularly. As a matter of fact, right now I have a nephew of mine who's already trainees in to be to some. I guess sometime soon he will be graduating, passing out. They improve the conditions of service for the police, including their salaries and benefits. Things like vehicles and so on. Listen, some of the best vehicles, the fleet of vehicles the police has, the police force, nice, you know. Brand new pickup trucks, brand new vehicles. 2 years ago, Taiwan gave us 10. Training. Making sure that they have the tools to solve crime. Of course, we may not have the most up-to-date forensic equipment like the US and the UK and so forth. And I appreciate that. I'll admit that. But even in the UK and the US and wherever where they have forensic equipment, a lot of crimes go unsolved. One of the things that is a positive is more CCTV cameras. More CCTV cameras. But you know, people ain't stupid. Those involved in crime are also adjusting their actions to combat the effect of the CCTV cameras. Excuse me. So every time the authorities, the government, the state put things in place, those who are involved in crime, those who plan, those who decide that they're going to live a life of crime, would adjust their actions and so forth so that they can circumvent what the government puts in place. You know the one thing they can't circumvent? Me and you. That is why I'm saying it is so important that that the members of our communities understand their role in the partnership, because that is the one part that they can't circumvent. Okay, we have a call coming in, Bling. So let me take this call in. All right, let's take the call.
Oh, good morning.
Caller, good morning, Prime Minister. How are you?
How are you today, Tian?
We're doing well, PM. Bling is here with me because Denny is out this morning, but we're doing well. Good morning and welcome.
Well, I'm calling you from Accra.
Accra.
In Ghana.
Yes.
We got here yesterday morning, and I took the rest of the delegation somewhere where I had gone before, but because I wanted them to see it. And we had an official group take us at Elmina Castle.
Okay.
That is the castle on the coast where the one of the four castles where the slaves were brought. Well, the Africans were brought and enslaved. And see the dungeons in which they were kept and the place of no return and the whole thing.
Yes, yes.
I'd seen it, of course, when I'd visited Ghana before. I visited Ghana twice before, once on an official visit and also to do a lecture. And then on the second occasion, at the guest of the Ghanaian government and the Africa Exim Bank, the 30th anniversary of the Exim Bank, Africa Exim Bank. Within 2.5 hours, I'll be seeing the president.
Okay.
My good friend.
Yes.
We will be discussing our bilateral relation. That's to say between Ghana and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Some matters on education, some matters on agriculture, applied science and technology, because science, technology, and innovation are big for both Africa, Ghana, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. The discussion on the Africa Union, CARICOM Commission, and also on the ABCD Commission, the Africa-Brazil CARICOM Diaspora Commission, which you now propose was both the African Union and CARICOM and CELAC. They have accepted.
Right.
We have shared experiences, but those shared experiences have to be put into shared expressions, and those expressions have to be institutionalized so that we can get things done with trade, travel, university exchanges, cultural exchanges, and the like. I don't know if you're aware that on an agreement which we have, and we have a cooperation agreement with Ghana, and they do certain things with us, for instance, with cocoa. And we have 4 Ghanaian students on scholarships. We provide the scholarships.
Okay.
Just like we provide for our own nurses, that they're in St. Vincent studying to the Bachelor of Science degree in nursing.
Okay.
And of course, there are multilateral things which we have to discuss. Other than Africa, Caribbean, Africa, CELAC, matters which are wider. For instance, the reform of the financial system, the global financial system, the ideas on which we have commonality, going to the Conference of Parties under the United Nations Framework Convention of Climate Change. That will be end of November, beginning December in the United Arab Emirates. So there are several important matters of an immediate nature and of a strategic nature. And this follows up on quite a successful visit to to Nigeria.
Yes.
And we arrived here, as I said, yesterday morning from Nigeria. And in Nigeria, I think Candyman S. Macmillan has been doing a lot of postings about that. So you would have seen the interactions between myself and the former president of Nigeria, Baba Obasanjo. My speech at the Bells University of Technology, dealing with the emancipation of African technology. And also the matter of reparations within the context of the Sustainable Development Goals. You would have heard, no doubt, my address. It was on YouTube, I think. I believe. I don't know if it was broadcast.
Yes, it was on
on
YouTube.
radio.
Yes, it was on YouTube.
But I spoke to the prepared address because I had sent the address in advance, and it was printed and circulated in a booklet. 20-something pages, 30 pages or thereabout in the printed booklet, and it was not intended for me to read that whole thing. I in a sense, dealt with a summary of the issues. So they have that for study, the students and those who are interested in my views on this matter. And I met the king of Otalan in Ogun State, and you would have seen that interaction. Candyman had that taped and showed, I believe, a summary of it. And St. Vincent and Grenadines was again honored because at Bells University on the Saturday morning, this is the day after I did the address, I was awarded an honorary doctorate of science in the management sciences for my life work on a range of matters. But I take these honors not to be personal. I take them to be bestowed upon the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Caribbean, which have been my vineyard, in which I've been toiling. And I am just the instrument. In the same way, in the afternoon of Saturday, when I went to when the king requested an audience with me, or for me to have an audience with him, I went there with the Vice Chancellor of the university. And there was also a good discussion there. The King of Otalan has promised to come to visit us next year.
Okay, excellent.
Which I think would be an important visit by a traditional king. And he, using his traditional powers, appointed me to an honorary chieftaincy of Otalan, and accorded me the title Omawali, meaning the one who has returned home. Because they see in me, despite the fact that I'm not of African origin specifically, that the spirit of Africa is in me. And of course, all of us, according to the anthropological sciences, originated in Africa millions of years ago. We were just dispersed after subsequently to other parts of the world. It's a peculiar part of the history. Huh?
Yes.
You know, Ethiopia is supposed to be the fountainhead of humanity. And of course, we had discussions with the Vice Chancellor about exchanges between Bell's University of Technology and the University of the West Indies. As a member of the University Council of the University of the West Indies, I spoke with him tentatively on that, because I'll have to talk to the Vice Chancellor, and I'm sure the Vice Chancellor will be very pleased. So Hilary Beckles to make the connections. And I spoke more authoritatively, naturally, in respect of the relations between Bell's and the St. Vincent Grenadines Community College. So we have a number of very important and positive things coming out, apart from the strategic context of the whole discussion between Africa and the Caribbean. But before I went to Nigeria. I spent a day and a half in London, and I had several meetings with potential investors. And when I leave here tonight, pretty late, and arrive in London back tomorrow, I will stay at the airport because I leave on Wednesday morning to come back home. But I have tentatively a meeting with an investor who's already in St. Vincent and Grenadines. And there's some information which he wants to relay me about some further developments with the investment. So I try to do, when I'm on the road, a number of things to conjoin with immediate matters and larger strategic issues as we pursue them. Things which would improve the life, living, and production of our country.
Yes.
The delegation I have naturally here is a small one. I have a High Commissioner Lewis with me. He's the High Commissioner to London, St. Vincent and Grenadines, and I have Inspector Adams, who's the Personal Security Officer. Angie at the office and the Cabinet Secretary don't allow me to travel anymore without a security officer. And of course, we have a press officer in Candyman. You know, I used to travel without a security officer, and they always complain. And I've given him to the complaints. You know how that is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you know these two women, how persuasive they are.
I know it is. I know it is. All in the best
If
interest.
anything happened to you, who is going to deal with it, and so on and so on and so forth. So and it's appropriate for a head of government, but of course, you know how easygoing I am.
Right. Yes.
And but there it is. So that's in a summary of where we are. Yesterday, November the 5th, when I was at Elmina Castle, I didn't say anything. I just about this, but I quietly remembered our exercise in freedom and democracy. Three years earlier, on our fifth anniversary of election. The third anniversary of our fifth election victory.
Yes.
Which is the antithesis of unfreedom, of slavery, and our democracy there is antithetical to colonialism and oppression, which Elmina Castle represents. It's it happened purely by chance. The good Lord works in mysterious ways, His wonders to perform.
Yes, yes.
And I didn't articulate that yesterday. I didn't articulate it to anybody. Now that I'm speaking to the country through you, I articulate it. Did you remember yesterday was the third anniversary?
No, I actually didn't. I didn't at all. I did not at all.
But you remember now is November the 5th?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Well, that tells us to how we, in the maturing of our democracy, these anniversaries come and go.
Yes.
And it's like the proverbial old man's river. It rolls on. But while it rolls on, and you stand in the water in the river, at the very moment you stand, there is fresh water passing you. So that you have to be refreshing yourself all the time.
All the time.
That's the imagery. Important one. But the people of Nigeria and of course Ghana are very happy to see us. And they're familiar with our profile globally and my own work.
Yes.
So it's interesting. A number of Nigerians who were in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as students and who have come back here, to come back to Nigeria, got in touch with me. I think they got my number through their friends in St. Vincent and Grenadines and text me. It's again showing the importance on an ongoing basis of these connections. But you may have questions which you want to ask me. I just report so that everyone can hear my voice. But in the meanwhile, I've been in touch with various officials at home and members of the cabinet. Yesterday, for instance, I was in touch with Foreign Minister Peters, KMP. I've been in touch with the acting Prime Minister, my permanent secretary Angie last night. 10:15 my time here, I was in touch with the Commissioner of Police, about certain things. So I even though I'm on the road, I have to be in touch and of course in touch with a number of individuals who have touched base with me about matters which are urgent. Ordinary citizens.
Right.
In fact, they're very surprised when I say, well, I'm calling you from Nigeria or from Ghana or from London. They say, oh, I didn't know somebody would get in touch with me. I didn't know you were away or something of the sort.
Right, yes.
I was waiting until they come back, but I just want to alert you. But if it is a matter of urgency, I will respond and give advice and guidance and things like that.
Yes.
And of course, I've been in touch with Camilla. He has been sending many messages in relation to the budgetary process and the like. Because, those are coming up. On Thursday, the day after I come back, we begin the discussion on the budget with the staff, with the public servants. So the work intensifies.
Yes, yes.
And the development program continues in peace, prosperity, security, and sustainable development for all. Despite the fact that you have a tiny minority of persons who still want to undermine our security and our peace. But they will not succeed, and they're not succeeding.
Absolutely. Prime Minister, you said I could ask questions, so I was wondering,
Sure.
you in terms of discussions that you intend to have with the president of Ghana, unfortunately you didn't say anything about meeting the leadership of Nigeria, but you did meet a former president.
About what?
You mentioned that you met the former president of Nigeria, but you didn't say anything about meeting any member of the current leadership. But I was wondering whether...
No.
Yes.
Because it was given the program which we had. It was difficult to fit in certain other things.
Okay.
But I hope to do so in some time, not too far from now. And the new president has just come in.
Yes.
Just a few months now. And but the Nigerian Foreign Ministry has been very supportive of our visit, and they've provided the personnel and protection and all the rest of it.
Okay.
diplomat support or everything.
I was wondering.
But you're asking about the meeting.
Yes, whether or not
with the Ghanaian president.
Yes, whether or not one of the items to be discussed would include visa-free travel between. I know you've talked a lot about the expansion of the relationships with Africa. You've talked about the ABCD Commission, something that you've promoted. So the idea of seamless travel should no doubt be a part of that discussion and that broadening of relationships. Do you intend to raise any such issues with the Ghanaian president?
Well, the issues involving with the commission will deal with practical issues of air and sea transport. The question of visas between ourselves and Ghana, well, that is, Ghanaians can come to St. Vincent and Grenadines without visas. And diplomatic and official passport holders can come to Ghana without visas. And, I will raise the extension of that to everyone else. But we have visas for Nigerians, and they have visas for us.
Okay.
And they expect the matter of visas for Nigerians. There were some challenges at a particular time. Why it was necessary to have those visas at our end.
Right.
And I think in relation to the Nigerian end, that just evolves historically. But the Nigerians were in St. Vincent and Grenadines who came as students.
Yes.
And some of them were no longer students. Some of them dropped out because the financial arrangement when the new government took over in Nigeria were altered. And those whose families were not in a position to support them, many of them have stayed in St. Vincent. And they're doing very useful work as musicians, as craftsmen and women, small business people, artisans, carpenters,
yes.
Some in the field of IT, as their aptitudes and all I said to the chief immigration officer, and I said publicly, they just regularize themselves. You see what I mean? It's not a question of asking them to leave, because let's face it, the overwhelming majority of them are doing good and useful work. And frankly speaking, if you have persons whom you didn't pay for their primary education, you didn't pay for their secondary education, you didn't even pay for their tertiary education, whether they're full tertiary education or some of what they got before they dropped out. These are strong and educated and law-abiding people who are an important resource. You see the point I'm making?
Yes.
And in fact, interestingly, they get a lot of solidarity from the ordinary working people in St. Vincent and Grenadines. Of course, some of them are citizens already, particularly through marriage. Some of them are married. And they are our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So you ask that question, I answer in this very broad manner. I know sometimes the certain personnel in the authorities in Vincent will say to someone who's applying for citizenship who is married that you need to go away and get it organized and then come back. And I said, but why are you asking for a person who don't have the money to travel out? They're married, they to leave their husband or wife, and sometimes children to come back. Those are absurd rules. I don't support that kind of administrative imposition because I know of no law requiring that. So, but sometimes some of these administrative practices take a long time to die, you know. It's like at the hospital. You would have somebody who dies at the hospital, and some official at the hospital will say there's an old rule before our time that they have to pay the bill before they issue the death certificate. That's a kind of rubbish is that. And you make a cabinet decision that must not happen, but still it happens occasionally. Like there's some people who don't pay attention to the decisions of cabinet and continue some obtuse, outmoded, illogical regulation or administrative decision, sorry. So, in the case of the one I mentioned about the hospital, so what are you going to do? The person don't have the money to pay the bill. Well, the person who went in is dead.
He's dead.
And the person who is doing the burial don't have the money to pay the bill. What do? You keep the body at the mortuary till thy kingdom come. Just stupid. There's no other way to mention to say that. And I can't never understand the basis for that original kind of administrative decision. But from time to time, I have to call the permanent secretary to ask what kind of folly is this? Cabinet has pronounced on this, and still you have people. The memo hasn't reached people yet. Who's supposed to carry out the decision? Similarly, I understand those authorities who want to make sure that people don't abuse our system, our immigration laws. But the laws have to be applied with sensitivity and reasonableness. You understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
And there should not be administrative impositions which are not supported by any regulatory or legal basis. So you gave me an opportunity to speak to some wider issues.
Okay. Prime Minister, the conflict in the Middle East rages on. I remember in 2010, as part of your official mission, you visited Palestine. And most recently in the United Nations, St. Vincent and the Grenadines was part of the General Assembly, members of the General Assembly, the 120 members of the General Assembly, who voted for ceasefire. Based on how things are going now...
Not only did we vote, not only did we vote for a humanitarian truce.
Yes.
We co-sponsored the resolution.
Okay.
There are two CARICOM countries which co-sponsored. Belize and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In fact, we co-sponsored when the original resolution said ceasefire. But it was amended from ceasefire to humanitarian truce. to some persons who wanted that formulation to get wider support. The Israelis, the government of Netanyahu, you say no. The American government, which voted against the resolution for humanitarian truce, is now seeing the carnage in Gaza and now raising the matter of a humanitarian pause. Well, a humanitarian pause, a humanitarian truce. I mean, you're playing with words.
Yes, yes.
Huh?
Yes.
You see what I mean?
While people
The
dying.
reality on the ground is that thousands and thousands of persons are dying. You can't, not because you are responding to the fact that Hamas had a horrendous attack on some innocent persons in Israel on the 7th of October, and that is to be critiqued and condemned. But as the Secretary General said, Secretary General of the United Nations, that those actions of October the 7th
Didn't happen in a vacuum.
didn't happen in a vacuum.
Yeah.
They happened after 75 years of occupation, and particularly 57 years of intense occupation by Israel of Gaza. No. It is to be doubted that the issue of self-defense arises here. I'm talking international law. But even if it arises, self-defense can't mean revenge, and it can't mean genocide. Because before the world, the Israeli government is acting in a wholly disproportionate manner.
Yes.
You can't bomb a refugee settlement or center. Say you're looking for one Hamas person and kill 50 innocent people, including children. In any consideration at the time of grace, can that be proportionate? And that is happening repeatedly. And you have a situation where one member of cabinet in the Israeli government is so wrapped up with revenge and saying that what Israel should do is to use nuclear weapons and graze Gaza to the ground with everybody inside of it and start afresh. Well, what that is a kind of homicidal madness. It's like a mania. It's completely contrary to international law and to common human decency. And the United States of America bears a special responsibility.
Yes, absolutely.
As the primary backer of the Israeli government, to tell them that what they're doing is just plain wrong. And they can't tiptoe around it. Because this is not only besmirching the Israeli government, but besmirching the reputation of a government in the United States which proclaims that it is promoting humane laws and civilized conduct. Well, what they're supporting in Gaza, what the Israelis are doing, cannot be squared with anything about international law, humanity. And we must speak it out, because and there are persons who would say, well, Ralph, well, you know, there may be consequences for you to bear for speaking like this. But my conscience does not allow me to speak otherwise. It's as simple as that. And we in CARICOM should be robust on this. And we should know that what is happening. We should make further statement collectively.
But PM, you mentioned CARICOM, and I'm glad you did, because if you look at the way individual member states, sovereign states, mind you, voted, you had abstentions, and you had one country even refusing to be in the room to participate in the vote. How frustrating is it that there is such a splintering of opinion from a CARICOM that produced a statement early in the conflict?
No, well, I think it's one country which abstained, Haiti.
I don't think Jamaica was in the room. I don't think Jamaica was in the room.
Well, I was coming to that.
Yes.
And Jamaica did not vote. And it is unfortunate that Jamaica didn't vote, that they had read the CARICOM statement, because they're chairing the CARICOM ambassadors at the moment at the UN. And they had the responsibility to make that statement at the General Assembly. Though St. Vincent Grenadines made its own statement.
Yes.
Because our statement had an edge, which the CARICOM statement didn't have. The CARICOM statement supported the resolution. But we thought that it should have had a sharper edge. So we made our own statement too, so that persons could see what we stood for. And then we, as I say, we co-sponsored along with Belize.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Haiti abstained. I don't know why Haiti abstained. It may well be. I could only speculate. And it may be a number of factors surrounding the current situation in Haiti. I don't want to be more specific than that.
Yes, okay.
But having made that point generally, reasonable persons may deduce from that general statement where I may go if I want to speak specifically, but I just don't want to do that at the moment. Not everything you necessarily have to say. But what is happening, not only in Gaza, but on the West Bank? It is said that they're behaving like that with Hamas in Gaza. Well, Hamas is not in control in the West Bank.
Right.
But as of when I went to bed last night, at midnight, Ghanaian time, since October the 7th, 149 persons in the West Bank, Palestinian, had been killed. And no attack was carried out from the West Bank into Israel. In fact, illegal settlers, Israeli settlers, legal settlers, they are carrying out attacks on Palestinians. Yes. And how are you going to square that, Ian?
Yes. Exactly. And that's a
So
question
you,
many is
you, you
asking.
ask me and I answer you very honestly and straightforwardly.
And you mentioned that PM, and you alluded to it previously, but I wanted to speak a bit more specifically on it. The possible repercussions in speaking this way and in standing up the way St. Vincent and the Grenadines is doing. We are going against the US, we are going against Canada, we are going against the UK, we are going against most of the EU.
Well, I will say this. I'm not so sure that we are going against Canada and going against the EU because they abstained.
Okay.
Because they must be very uneasy as to what is happening. But they were persuaded to abstain.
Okay.
In fact, it was reported to me by our ambassador to the United Nations that she was lobbied by a senior member of the mission of the United States to the United Nations that if we couldn't vote against the resolution at the UN, we should abstain. But I indicated to her that our conscience and our principles couldn't permit us to abstain. Indeed, I advised that we co-sponsored. No. This is the great power of the United States. Would want to have reprisals against those who don't follow the dictates. Well, I doubt, because we have a good friendship with the United States of America. But there are sometimes when friends differ. And on this one, we differ. Indeed, in the United States of America, you see the large numbers of ordinary Americans demonstrating against what the Netanyahu government is doing in Gaza. You have seen thousands of Jews in the United States, people of Jewish persuasion, Jewish heritage, are demonstrating against what the Netanyahu government is doing in Gaza.
Yeah.
Inside of Israel itself. If you go, as I have been doing, reading newspaper columnists and commentators, there are significant sections of the mature, reasonable population in Israel saying that what is happening there, what the government is doing, is wrong and not sustainable. And rather than leading to peace, would be leading to continuous warfare. And let there be no mistake about it. Let me emphasize this. Those who seek to find Old Testament justification, that justification is not there for what Netanyahu is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And those who may twist anything in the Old Testament to seek justification here now must remember that after Christ came, he came for both Jews and Gentiles.
Yes.
And it was made clear by Paul. servant of the Lord to call an apostle. Who is the apostle? He was called to be an apostle, Paul. He didn't call himself, you know. He was called by God to be an apostle. No. He said, he wrote, and he emphasized, it is not through Israel or the nations of Ishmael who would bring about love and peace. It would be the nations following Jesus Christ. That's what I said, you know. So for those who want to seek the justification in the Old Testament, they must read carefully, A, the Old Testament, and B, what was said at the time of grace. And if you, those persons who go into the Old Testament, and I know this by practically by heart, and you can look it up. The prophet Isaiah in chapter 2, verse 4. And he, meaning God, shall judge among nations and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So the prophet Isaiah was saying, when the Messiah comes, and he came, that in that period after, what we have to do is to preach peace, not revenge, not war, not genocide. And in practical terms, whatever you do in self-defense, if that is available, you must act proportionately. In the same way, individually, in our common law and statute law, in our domestic situation, if you, Sion, come and box me in my chest, you assault me, I cannot take a cutlass and chop off your hand.
And claim self-defense.
You understand me?
Yes.
I could box you back.
Yes.
I can't take a cutlass and chop off your hand. Neither can I take a gun and kill you because you boxed me in my chest. Your response has to be proportionate, even though you have a right to self-defense.
Yes.
Self-defense doesn't mean revenge. It doesn't mean genocide. If you're a nation, I'm now extrapolating from the individual now to the nation. You see how these things are reasoned out here?
Yes, absolutely.
And what I'm seeing here accords with what the vast majority of people on God's earth would be thinking. Even whether they are Christians, whether they are Hindus, whether they are Muslims, whether they are Jews who follow the Torah, the Judaic religion, whether you're followers of Gautama or the Sikhs or whatever, the Buddhists or whatever, you see the point I'm making, Sian?
Yes, Prime Minister.
These are universal principles, and they have become codified into international law. People have all different religious beliefs. This is not a situation where God spoke to Joshua to destroy every living thing in the city of Ai, Yeah, you remember that in the Old Testament?
Yes.
God didn't talk to Netanyahu,
Well, he's referencing Amalek, Prime Minister. Remember what Amalek did unto you? He said.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's pure demagoguery.
Absolutely.
And we, by the way, the position of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is very clear. Israel is entitled to have peace and security within its borders. And that Palestine, as a state, must be also defined with secure boundaries, again, to live in peace and security. That is what the resolution of the United Nations Security Council decades ago, Resolution 242, said. Well, what the Netanyahu government has been doing is to say no to Resolution 242. And bit by bit, to have Jewish settlements going inside the West Bank, robbing the Palestinian people of lands, and to have Gaza as an open prison. Huh? But that's completely contrary to resolution
Yes.
242, which the United States of America accepts. Well, how could you accept that? And accept what is happening there now? So the answer is to be found not in principles or the application of principles, but these are principles being applied of power and naked self-interest. But I tell you this, every single situation contains its contrary. It's contrary. Every situation has an opposite contained within it. And that opposite, give it time. If the circumstances of that opposite are fueled and you don't take care of the situation to arrive at things peacefully and consensually, the opposite will be given real flesh and blood meaning in human beings who wouldn't tolerate what is happening. And so the opposite is contained, And the only way you're going to resolve this is that we have to beat the weapons which you have into plowshares and pruning hooks, metaphorically.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to beat the swords into plowshares and the spears into pruning hooks. Of course, the swords and the spears is now the heavy tanks and the big weapons, and fellas are now talking about even nuclear weapons.
Yes.
In fact, one of the interesting things is this. The minister who spoke about using nuclear weapons, minister of the cabinet in Israel, I mean, highly irresponsible and ignorant, really. But you know why they're vexed with him? Because he has now publicly acknowledged that Israel has nuclear weapons, which, for some reason, some in the U.S. and some in Israel, in power circles, always want to deny or certainly not admit.
Yes.
And now this fellow say we have it, use it.
Yes.
What kind of talk is that?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Where are we going? No, I'm the prime minister of a small country, but that doesn't mean that we must sell our soul, so that we don't have somebody who's powerful be annoyed with us or irritated with us. Oh man, we have to do better than that. So you I don't know if you have any other issues you want to raise with me.
No, that's it for now. That's it for now, Prime Minister. We really appreciate you taking the time to update us.
No, but you notice always I ask for reasonableness, for peace, for social solidarity, for security, for sustainable development for all. And that's why it's so important for us not to play games just for the sake of a few dollars with our passport and our citizenship. We have to be careful that we do not turn everything into a commodity for sale. We must not commodify our passport. We must not commodify our citizenship. You know, monopoly capitalism, you know, the both capital and labor have a dual nature. In the case of labor, you're paid for your time, which is used, and your skill. But capitalism is trying to commodify and has succeeded in commodifying something else with your labor, your flair, your eureka moment. You know what I mean? Your inspiration.
Yes.
And not to pay for that, you know. And then They commodify your desires and your attention. For instance, they used to, you have a TV set, things on your television, the movies that come on, the sitcoms that come on. You don't pay for them. But they find a way, they say, well, you just can't enjoy that, man. You have to pay for it. So between the movies and the sitcoms, any hour of it, 20 minutes is an advertisement to sell you everything under the sun.
Yes.
Yeah? So they're commodifying your wants, your desires. Of course, and they're commodifying your necessities. Huh? And then, of course, as the technology improves, they then, Sian, and hear me well, they then, as the technology, they say, well, we can even commodify your decision to watch your TV, your desire to watch your TV without any interruption with ads. So they brought in cable TV. And they brought in Netflix. You see where I'm coming from?
Yes.
And then Google and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram begin to control and commodify many things for you. And by the way, what they're preaching at the same time, and we see to the NDP, they say, well, you know, as you heard Chevron John said in Canada, the matter was just put before her, which you read now. And Friday had said the same thing too before, and other people in the NDP, that the government want to make poor people dependent on it. Therefore, that's when we try to help poor people with houses, with cards for the money, increase public assistance, open up all the schools and scholarships and so on. Want to make people dependent. You know, that's roll back the state. But if you roll back the state, those gaps are going to be taken care of by unaccountable big private sector entities. So they ain't worried about your dependence on Google, Facebook, one or two big companies who supplying motor cars or whatever it is. No. They want to roll back the state because we give some people north of the Dry River in Oyan, Fancy, and Sandy Bay some extra money and some houses. What a time, eh? You notice how bankrupt the philosophy in which they have is?
Yes.
Because all of this comes from the same thing. They want to commodify every single thing about human beings. And that is why when we said we're going to spend $30-something million to put ourselves in order to host the 4 games in the T20 Cricket World Cup in June next year. What was Friday's first response? Essentially, he hoped that the dance could pay for the light. How many tourists can come and watch? And if you're spending this kind of money, you have to get your return. Our starting point, young people coming to play cricket and the legacy which is created there for more young people to come to play cricket, for the enjoyment of their playing it, to keep them away from crime, have them focused with a healthy body and a healthy mind. But no, unless it's commodified, they ain't see no value in it. They know the price of everything, but the value of nothing.
Yes.
You see the different approaches, the different philosophies?
Yes, Prime Minister.
You see, so when I talk, you understand the philosophical positions which underpin?
Yes.
That's why they can't attract young people. That's why they can't go beyond their base.
Yes.
And that's why they'll never win election with that kind of an approach. It doesn't matter how many times they bring a Tana. Because people know when they bring a Tana and Friday opens his mouth or whoever else, they hear the emptiness.
Yes.
Because they know in their time there was 4 scholarships. They know there's now thousands. Yeah? That we have, yes, we have STEP, we have on-site, we have prime, all directed to young people. We have the sports, we have the culture, we have the education revolution. And anything they propose is a watered-down version of what we have and what they oppose. Huh? Because remember, they went to Canada and they went to New York. Went to New York and they went to Canada.
Yes.
And what they did fell like a damn squib.
Yes.
They had a hope rally in Georgetown. It fell flat the same way. As the Americans will say, they ain't gonna bounce from it. Because they ain't got no substance. Friday is a fake. You listen to him. A lot of vacuous talk. And then 6, not having any creative thinking, decides that he will imitate. One Keith McClose in broad daylight. I write a whole book about fresh hope. He called it hope. Well, it's still hope he's presenting a false hope. and this is the real world. Why we do serious work? They involve in a lot of fakery and rubbish. Anyway, you notice how all of these things are interconnected? Yes, Jan?
Yes, Prime Minister.
Because they come from particularly different philosophical well springs. Anyway, you have to go and do your business.
But we thank you. We thank you so much, Prime Minister, for joining us this morning. And
I have to go and get ready.
What is the time there now, Prime Minister?
Okay. It's minutes to 2.
Minutes to 2. All right. So it's about 4 hours ahead of us. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Really appreciate you touching base with us this morning. That was Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves touching base with us this morning as part of his Hold on 1 second. As part of his mission overseas, he's currently in Accra, Ghana, and he should be meeting President Adu sometime during the course of today. We appreciate him touching base, and he spoke to a number of issues. He's touched on the issue of crime, and we did mention that there'll be a press conference at 11:30 this morning, hosted by the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. He touched on the issue of the Palestinian question, the situation in the Middle East. He touched on the issue of relations between Nigeria, Ghana, Africa, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we appreciate him touching base with us this morning. We went way over time. It's just about 6 minutes before the of 10 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock it will be it will be time for shake up. So those of you who stayed with us, especially those in the diaspora, well, yeah, all behind you, just minutes to 9 for you, which is normal done time. We appreciate you and we wish you a fantastic day. We thank Bling for holding it down with us this morning in the absence of Anthony Denny. And we look forward, God's willing, to doing this video again tomorrow morning. Let me wish everybody a fantastic day. Take care.